Welcome, Amakhosi Network. Welcome to the channel. Today, on election day, we have a very interesting topic. It's to say, Kaizer Chiefs is going to sign one player from each PSL team. Who would who would you want Kaizer Chiefs to sign? These are the players I've selected. They are not perfect players. They are not the perfect you'll find, but these are the players I thought would do well for Kaizer Chiefs. Now, listen, guys, this is hypothetical. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but let's just say Bill Gates or the richest person in Mhlabeni or South Africa, whatever, comes and says, Kaizer Chiefs, you can go and buy any player in one of the 15 other PSL team, DSTV Premiership teams. I will give you the money. Which players would we choose as Kaizer Chiefs supporters? But before we get into that, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to try and make the video as quick as possible. So, yeah, let's get to it. Number 1, Sundowns. Who would we pick from Sundowns? Remember, the order of how I'm going through the teams is how transfer market does it, meaning the teams with the highest values to the teams with the lowest values. Obviously, Sundowns cost more, so it will be number 1. Sundowns, I said Tebogo Mokoena. Some of you would say Ribeiro, Allende. But for me, Tebogo Mokoena is a 27-year-old. He's a rock in the Bafana midfield, in the Sundowns machine. Without Tebogo Mokoena, they don't function. So I'd pick Tebogo Mokoena. And I've already always wanted him from SuperSport. When I saw him in I think it was the Under-20 World Cup, I already liked the boy from there. So for me, Tebogo Mokoena. Number 2, Pirates. Patrick Masangwani. The guy's 26. I don't see any other player I'd pick. I know a lot of you would say Relebohilo Mufokeng is actually the best player to pick because of his age and because of what he can do. The only reason I didn't pick Relebohilo is because I feel he's going to be overseas by the time the season ends. So it's one of those things that I made this decision with my heart, not my head. My heart is saying I want Relebohile to be in the English Premiership like by now. By now, June, I want Pirates to sell him to English Premiership. But obviously, if I'm voting with my head, I'll pick the 19-year-old Relebohile over Masangwani just because Relebohile is 19 and is already killing the league. And Masangwani is about 26. So it will be better to take the 19-year-old. But that's my reason. SuperSport, Shandray Campbell. This one's an easy one. I'd pick Shandray Campbell. He had a dip in his form in the last half of the season. So with regards to that, unfortunately, I still rate him as a very good left wing. So I'll still pick him. Yeah. And now it's about to get tough. Some of these teams, I looked through the squads and I was like, I don't even want one of these players. Anyway, and that, for example, is Amazulu. I looked throughout the Amazulu squad and I was like, none of these players interest me at all. And number 2, how did these teams finish above Chiefs? But anyway, Amazulu, the only player I could think of there is Veli Mota. The others, I don't have an interest in them. Like I'm fine. So that is Amazulu. Golden Arrows, who would I pick? I had the same issue with Golden Arrows. There were players who came out like Bradley Cross, etc. But I decided to go with Ndunduzo Sibia. I've always liked him. Yes, he's a bit older, so there's that, but I've always liked him as a right wing, so I'll still go with him. He's actually the player I wish we bought instead of Modi. That is how I felt when we bought Modi. But I was like, you know what, Modi's still a good player. He's out of contract, so I'm not gonna complain too much. But I've always believed Usibia is better than Modi. Sikukune, Elias Mkwana, so that one is a simple one. He is the best player of the team. I'd pick him, and we've seen what he's doing in Bafana. So he looks like he has a very bright future, so I picked him. This is the tough one. This is Stellies, I had 3 players on the board. I had Jaden Adams, I had Titus, and I had Van Veek. This one was very tough. I didn't know who to pick. I took it down to maybe Jaden Adams and maybe Titus because they had a better season than Van Veek, even though I really, really, really like Van Veek. I believe Van Veek could become the next Billiard if he just finds himself in the best environment. But other than that, a lot of you would pick Jaden Adams just because he's the one who made Bafana and all of those things. And to that degree, I do agree with you guys that Jaden at the current moment is seen as the better player. But I feel like Titus is closer to completion than Jaden Adams. I feel like Titus is hitting levels that he's been hitting very quietly. So for me, I'll take Titus. And even though I know Jaden Adams would be a better pick, but I'd still pick Titus. Titus is 24, Jaden 23, Van Veek 22. If you're picking in terms of age, you would probably just pick Jaden Adams. He would be the younger one. He would be the one who has who's been in Bafana, so he would be the logical choice. So I'd understand that. Cape Town City, it was between Cupido, Mayo, and Rhodes. I did not know who to pick. I didn't know to pick, but I was like, maybe Cupido because of his defensive ability. Maybe Cupido. It was a bit touch and go, and that's just because Mayo and Rhodes have just been on and off. And with Mayo, the thing is that ever since Hugo Bros highlighted Mayo's fault, I've started to see it too much, which is one thing I applaud about Hugo Bros' assessment of Umay. Mayo will be in the game, and all of a second Sunday he's not there, and we must act like it's okay. So I that's something I picked up about his game that I didn't like. So for that, I was like, maybe I'll pick Cupido, but I don't know. This one is a tough one. So I don't really have an answer for Cape Town City. Yeah, maybe I don't know who I'd pick. Let me say Cupido for now. Cheaper, I say Stanley Nwabali, so the goalkeeper. He's the easiest choice. I will go next. Swallows, I honestly didn't even pick one player. There's no player who's good enough that I saw there, so I can't really speak about Swallows. So, yeah, I know. Swallows. Richards Bay, you know who I like. You guys know I like Kuyanele Mputuma. I like that striker. I think he can become something. Cape Town Spurs, I said Russian Dudley. TS Galaxy, I'd said Mujela. Royal AM, I've said Mfundo Tigazi. Polokwane City, I said Osunapolis. Those are the very standard players. I know some of the players you guys don't agree with, but you guys let me know which of these players or which player didn't I mention who you would prefer to be in the team. But remember, you can only pick one from each team. If you can only pick one, who would you pick? Who would you replace? Tell me who's the best one. And who did I miss? Because, sometimes when you're going through making these things, you may forget one specific player, and then it turns out that that's the player you wanted all along. Players like Sanele Barnes, I left out of the question because they're going to Stelis already and stuff like that. And Relebohile, I made a comment about that. A lot of you would say the same would probably apply to Luke Batman and Shandre Campbell, that they may not be in the DSTV Premiership. But those two haven't had the kind of trials Relebohile has had. So that's why I kind of left them open. And yeah, some of the teams I really couldn't decide, and like Swallows, I couldn't even think of one player. The one player I was like, maybe just for the sake of picking, was going to be Keenan Phillips, but other than that, I didn't really have anyone who was exciting. But anyway, as voting, it's almost time to close. I'm a vote, guys. I hope you guys voted. Happy elections 2024. And to those of you who have voted, well done on your vote. You've done South Africa proud. You've done yourself proud. You've done your community proud. And Amakhosi, siyabuya strong next season. Next season, siyabuya strong, but good is your winning trophy. That I don't think will happen next season. Next season, we are back to square one. We are rebuilding. Unfortunately, we are rebuilding. Hi, as for